So what we're going to do here with these 3 balls lined up is we're going to talk about the contact point based on where the pitch is located. If it's an inside pitch, we have to hit it out in front of us. If it's down the middle, ideally we'd like to hit it even with the plate, depending again on where we're at in our box. And if it's an outside pitch, we have to let it travel a little bit longer. But yet all 3 of these should be contacting even with our front foot. We don't want to let anything get too far past our front foot, because then it's just going to become a foul ball. So if I've got an inside pitch, which is probably the harder pitch to hit, because we got to do a lot with our hands. As she reads an inside pitch, it's very important that she gets her hands inside the ball instantly. So don't move your feet, stay there. So our hands are going to be driven inside the ball, so now they're inside the plane of the ball. Here's the ball and here's her hands, and as it comes, we're going to let the ball travel here and we're going to make contact right here. Again, the bat position is she's going to keep the ball in fair territory, as opposed to what we talked about early. If she casts and hits the same pitch at the same location, the bat comes around and the only place she's going to hit it is foul, and we've wasted a good pitch. If we get a pitch that's down the middle of the plate, we have to let it travel a little further. If it's out here and we do the same technique, we can't reach it. So that's why we must let it travel a little bit deeper on the plate, hands staying inside the ball, making contact. Again, where is it pitched? Middle of the plate, we should hit it up the middle. Okay. Lastly, the same response. The ball's traveling to the outside. We have to recognize that and let the ball get a little bit deeper. Again, if we try to do it with the same principle as an inside pitch, our hands come early and in front, we can't reach the ball. So again, we're here, the ball here, we drive our hands in this position, that's the slot. Then when the ball gets deep, we release the hands and we want to square it up and drive the ball to the right side. So we're going to do some live soft toss now, and I'm going to ask my student athlete to refresh herself every time. I'm going to ask her to get out of the box. I'm going to ask her to get in the box the same way she's going to do it in the game. So she's going to get in front foot first, then the back foot. She's going to check the plate. That looks good. If her problem that she's having during the game is an inside pitch, I'm going to soft toss balls to her on the inside part of the plate, and I'm going to ask her to keep it fair. If it happens to be outside, then we're going to throw it outside to her, and again, have her try to keep it fair, okay? So we'll do, at this point in time, we're going to throw it down the middle and just have her hit. So I'm going to tell her during this drill, I want her to do this whole process. I want her to be standing straight up and relaxed. As I hold the ball up, present it to her, and I start to move it back, I'm going to ask her to go into position 1, is the ready position, the relaxed position. Position 2, which would be the squeeze. I want to see visually her squeezing a basketball between her knees, and I'm looking for the weight to go to the inside of the foot, okay? Then on number 3, we're going to ask her to do her stride, okay? And at any part, now what we just saw is she mixed the stride and the slot together, and we have to catch that. So now I'm going to bring her back, and I'm going to tell her to do it again. Tell her to relax. Now I'm going to tell her to go to squeeze. The back comes up, the knees are together. Stride doesn't affect anything except for her front foot striding, and her hips are still square now, and that's what we're looking for. Now, 4, she's going to go into the slot. We're going to see her hips turn really hard, and the bat's going to stay here while we're reading it. And now from here, she's going to drive her hands in to the slot position, and now we decide at contact. Anytime during this soft toss drill, if I see her stray from any one of those points, I'm going to stop, and we're going to fix it. It doesn't matter if she hits 5 or hits 100, they need to be perfect reps. 1, relax. 2, squeeze. 3, stride. 4, slot. And a swing, okay? Again, here we go. 1, relax. 2, squeeze. 3, stride. 4, slot. 5, swing. Good, very nice. Okay, 1, relax. 2, squeeze. 3, stride. 4, slot. 5, swing. Good. So she's got it down, so now I'm not going to say anything, and she's going to start it. She's going to be in the relaxed position when the ball's here. As I swing it back to toss it to her, she's going to go to all 3. She should go to the slot as the ball leaves my hand. Very nice. Again. Good. All right. Very good. So what I'm looking for at that drill, I'm not watching the ball flight. I'm looking at her lower body. I'm making sure that we're having a pivot so her hips can turn. If we've got a student athlete where their hips are not turning properly, it could be the cause of this foot. If I hold this foot in place and ask her to turn her hips, go ahead, it's hard. If she pivots this back foot hard, as they say, squish the bug, and it should get to that position, now turn your hips as hard as you can. Ideally, what you want to look for is wherever she hits the ball, the belly button should be pointing. If I hit a ball to left field, my belly button should be pointing to left field. If I hit a ball to right field, my belly button should be pointing to right field. Something as a coach you want to pay attention to and make sure that we're looking at on every swing. Again, perfect reps. Soft toss drills with the student athlete. As a coach, I can stand wherever I need to, and based on where I throw it is where she's going to hit it. So I'm standing right out in front of her, and I'm going to work on an inside toss to her, and I should not have to worry about getting hit unless I make a bad toss. So here, we're going to go through the process again, make the toss, throw it inside, and she should hit it right where I need her to. If I want to throw it to her where she's going to hit it outside again, we'll do it down the middle of the plate. And again, I shouldn't have to worry about it. Now, if I want to throw from this side and we're going to work on the outside part of the plate, she just has to let the ball travel, okay? Again. Here again. So, as a coach, what we don't want to do is we don't want to be straight beside them. We want the ball to have some forward movement to it. Let's not be straight here. We want to be at least out in front of them. So I could work again on the outside part, being slightly out in front of her and throwing it to the outside part of the plate. Good. Another drill that we can do is we're going to ask them to stand in the ready position when I drop it. They're going to go through their squeeze, their stride and slot, but I don't want them to hit the ball until it bounces and then it starts down again. Don't let it bounce and come up. Drop it from above their head, bounce. As it moves to the ground on this downward descent on it, that's when I want them to hit it. So we'll do this, relax, watch the ball. Good. Again, wait till it drops down, and we're looking for her to be patient and explode on the ball. Again, we got a little bit aggressive. Throw the ball here, let's try it again. That was perfectly done. So if I've got one of my younger student athletes here, and I'm trying to get them to do tee work, I have to make sure that their hands can go into the slot here and hit the tee without having them do this. So making sure they're close enough to the tee, okay? In this case, we should be able to put the bat against our belly button and it should be able to reach the middle of the tee, or cover the entire tee. That tells me I'm at the right distance away, okay? If we can't touch our belly button and have the bat out here to cover the entire tee, then we're too far away, okay? At that point, we're gonna put the ball here here, and I'll try to put something like the name of the ball or something in the back, because that's what I want her to focus on. And again, we want her to hit the inside half of the ball. So I'm not going to put the Wilson straight. I'm going to turn it in towards her, because that's the angle that I want her bat to come into, is from inside out. That's what creates power, okay? So from there, we're going to look for, does she have her knocking knuckles lined up? Which she doesn't right at the moment. So we're going to just adjust her just a tiny bit, okay? Really light grip. If we see white knuckles here, they're holding the bat too tight. So just tell them to, like it's a bird, really relaxed, okay? That looks really good, okay? And what we're also looking for is at the start, don't let them just focus here on the tee. We want them to act like there's a pitcher on the mound. We want them to start like this, and then right when they do their stride, go ahead and take your stride, sweetie. Take a step, take a little step. There you go. Now at that point, they can follow the ball back to the tee, and we're going to tell them to go ahead and make contact. Go ahead and swing. Good. Take another one. Very nice. Good. So what we saw right there is she hit at the ball, and we want to swing through the ball. So we want her to go through the whole process. We want the contact to come from in here, make contact, and we want to teach them to now, when the bat gets out here, now our hands can roll, and let's finish over here, okay? So again, very nice. Again, we want, what causes them not to follow through all the way is we're probably squeezing the bat too tight. If the bat's really light, the momentum of the bat is going to snap it through and bring it all the way around, okay? So I want you to bring that bat until it comes all the way through contact, and I want you to let it just wrap around all the way to here, okay? Look on the inside part of that, right at that knee. Go ahead. Good, not bad. Also, what we're looking for here is we want to make sure they're getting on plane with the ball out in front. What we just saw from her, and something we can help her with, is she's dropping the bat here on plane way back in here, and it creates a longer swing. We don't need to get on plane until we're here. So our hands are going to stay in this position here, and we're going to get on plane out here. The bat's going to come from here to here, as opposed to getting on plane back here and bringing it to here. hitting off of tee can get really redundant for these student athletes too. So I don't like to see them standing in the same spot. We want to move them all the time. And again, I want to have the same approach. I want them to get out of the box, even when they're hitting on a tee, and I want to simulate like a game situation. Ideally, again, like I tell ours, let's get in with the back foot first, and then the front foot, get our stance, check the plate, and now we're ready to hit. When we're doing tee work like this, I want them to do that every single time. You know, quality reps are better than quantity. So again, let's step into the box. Okay, so is she too far away? Let's see. Here, and we're not even covering the tee yet, so we have to tell her to move up, closer, right there, put it on your belly button, and we're covering the entire tee again. Now we're at the proper distance away from the tee, all right? So again, here we're gonna look at, and as a coach, if you wanna help with this, you can simulate the pitching motion for them while you're kind of off to the side, have them looking at you, looking at me, and simulating. So when I get to my hip is when she should take her stride and then continue with her swing. We don't want them to flow robotically. We don't want it to be here, squeeze, and then stride, and then slot. We want it to all flow. As soon as we take that stride, our hips are going, and then our hands are coming right behind it, unless we read a changeup. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, the first thing I want to do is I want her hands to get into the top of the strike zone. The strike zone from the armpits, her hands are below it, so if we get a high pitch, she's got to raise it. If we start at the top of the strike zone, she has one place to go, and that's down. If she has her hands here, we don't know. We're either going to have to go up or down. So make sure your student athletes, both hands are at the top of the strike zone, which are the armpits. Let's start in that position. And she may like to hit here, but our job is to get her ready for the next level, and she needs to be up here, okay? Let's make sure our hands are together. There we go. Nice and relaxed. Okay, so now we're going to take a stride and then hit that ball. Again, I'm looking for her to look like there's a pitcher out there. We're picking up the pitcher. Now look at the ball. Take a stride and hit. Good. So we're getting a good look at the #1 problem that we see with young student athletes is that they want to get on playing with the ball way back here. And we have to work hard to fix that. And so if I had a problem like that with a lot of my kids, I would never let them hit off a tee or live without something behind them to train them to swing in a downward plane at the ball. So again, we're going to bring her hands back up, and we're going to ask her to bring her hands to the ball by driving, pulling this front elbow. This is the first thing that should go. The front elbow pulls after the slot, which creates the back barrel of the bat to get on playing with the ball out in front. Okay, so again, we're here, we're going to pull this elbow straight. Okay, so we're going to go again, up here, relax. Now, also what we see is, when I just said that, now she wants to get her both elbows up. This is not the best position that I like to see. We've had dads all say, get that back elbow up. That's more an advanced move. To line the knocking knuckles up here, the elbows need to be down into this position. I would never teach a kid to have her elbows up. I put her hands in like this, line up the knocking knuckles, and just be relaxed. That's a perfect position right there, okay? Let's take a stride and swing. It's okay. So if, again, we're trying to train her to hit that ball before it gets to her front foot, if I'm looking here, the ball is right here. So as a coach, I'm messing her up by not getting her in the right spot to start. So I got to move her back so she's making contact with this ball before it gets to her front foot. So that was my fault on the setup. Now she's in a good setup position. Get your hands where they need to go. Knocking knuckles, line them up. That's good. Line them up. Okay, relax your elbows. Okay. Take a stride and hit it. Good, that's all right. I want you to just relax and have fun. See how far you can hit that thing. Take a stride and hit it. Very good. 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 Also, what I'm looking for here is I'm trying to look at her back leg. That time as she swung the bat, she got to here, and all of her weight was on her front foot, and the back leg was totally straight. What we're trying to look for is to drive that back knee into the front leg here and have it bent on contact. So as she gets to the ball and she's making contact, this back leg should pivot and the back knee should be bent, okay, and making contact there. So now we look at that axis, what we talked about earlier, let go of the bat, sweetie, and it's straight up and down. Before, she was leaning forward and it got tilted like that. Another thing that we need to check for, okay? So let's try to hit this one again. Elbows in, line up the knocking knuckles. I can't emphasize enough, if you'll put a line on these knuckles here and ask them to get that line squared up, it'll fix the problem within a week. Tell them to come to practice with a white line or something marked on their knuckles. Make sure the line's lined up, and then we're ready to go. Get the bat up, elbows down, in. There you go. Take a stride and hit it hard. Good. So again, that tells me she's getting on plane back here early. Ask her to do, and it might be hard for her at first, is I'm going to put another tee back here. I'm going to have this ball slightly above that ball, the bottom of this ball at the top of that ball, and I'm going to ask her to hit that front ball without hitting this ball here, okay? This is a great training drill. We move it back a little bit further than that. Hands got to be top of the zone, and we're going to ask her to get to that ball without hitting this one here, okay? Go ahead. Very nice. So that fixed our problem instantly, and it gave her feedback. She knew she did it right because this ball's still sitting here. This works for two things. If I come into the slot position, I can't reach that ball. If I'm here and I cast early, I can't avoid that ball. So this acts for two reasons. We get a downward swing and we don't cast our top hand. Very good.